Alright, I got 15 minutes or less to do this. I just did the same video and it took me about, I don't know, 35 minutes, and I realized I didn't have the GD microphone on. So double check that switch. Okay, it's on. And okay, so where are we at? This is the last video. I'm not doing another one. I'll just kind of play a little bit here, but this will be the last video. So I added in a little bit of instructional stuff here at the beginning, user testing, and local premises proved to be a little bit confusing at the beginning and what the point of the whole game was. So we'll die again before I get to the checkpoint. Basically, the point of the game, avoid the triangles. You can touch and drag on the screen. I'm using a mouse for obvious reasons because I'm on a computer. But object, avoid all triangles. So collect some coins, use power-ups, and I line those up with these power-ups at the bottom so people would hopefully say, oh, look, there's a power-up. And then the game will begin. And then I just hit a checkpoint that you didn't see because it was invisible. So next time the user starts the game, they're not going to have to go through all that little training section again. That's a one-time deal, and I'll show that a little more here as soon as I die. One thing I don't like 100% is the control. I'll get to that later. I'm not going to talk about it now, but we'll see how far I can get. And I got to tell you, I am pretty okay at this game. I've smoked it a couple times to the point I had to go back and make it harder, but I assure you, it's still not terribly easy. So how did I get past how did I do the checkpoint thing? Let's start again. Well, first let me put it in debug mode and restart, and I think you'll see it right there. That's a checkpoint. I'll show you where that checkpoint's coming from. I can kill myself. Let's see. So when I get to, we got the training. I set it up into 4 little short sections, just to go there. And I was having a little bit of trouble. At first, I just did it on the start one, and I drug it up to, like, I don't know, 12. I think it was 3,000 pixels. And I realized I rely on these guides a lot more than I thought. Now, sometimes I'll look at this little one at the top and say, okay, that's the middle of the page, and I'll line stuff up based on those guides. But when you drag it up like 4,000 pixels and then zoom in, it makes it kind of hard. So that was really the only reason I broke these up. Not much other reason than that. And then on here, go into debug mode, and you'll see this is basically an invisible action item that I put on the screen, and I set to well, it's an invisible checkpoint. Damn it, I just deselected it. But set checkpoint was what was just in there, and that's it. Basically, make sure there's no points being awarded for it. They'll never know they even hit it. And then the only other thing you got to change on top of that is in your menu system, back at the beginning, instead of start game, you have to have start checkpoint set. So that was one thing I had to go and check back. If you leave it as start game, they're going to go back to the beginning they're going to go back to start every time. So if you go back to start checkpoint, then they come back here and they don't have to go through that training. Now they can reset that on their own, but they're not going to like the way they have to do it. It's going to be reset everything, reset settings. It's going to throw up a warning based on what is back over here in your settings. And that is going to say, that's here, the reset message. And it's basically, please note you're going to reset everything in your game and you can't undo it and you're going to have to start over. Are you sure you want to do that? And then they have to OK or cancel. It's a little dialog box that'll pop up on the screen, and that's what reset everything does. So if they do that, then they can go through the training again if that's all they were trying to do, but it's also going to reset their high scores and all that good stuff. So next, I think on the last one that I'm repeating, I went through a little bit of here. It would be nice if I could drag this up so I could show you a little bit better what's going on here, but I can't, and that's a feature request if anyone's listening from BuildBox. So how does this work? So you've seen these levels before, but I didn't really talk about how I lined them up. So there's 7 levels in the first one, and then a Zen and a bonus. All of these are basically going to appear within this frame, and the numbering system across the top is pixels. So you can see here it's 700, and it can appear anywhere between 4,000 and 9,000, and any of these seven levels can appear at any time between that 4,000 and 9,000 pixel block. So anywhere in this range, these levels can appear. So that's kind of how I stacked it. Occasionally, I think you might have saw it a minute ago that when you're playing the games, sometimes you'll get multiple ones in a row. Oh shit! Did not mean to do that. Sometimes you'll get multiple levels in a row. Let's see. Damn. See if I can do it here real quick. But you'll get them back to back to back. And let's see if I can get 2 in a row here. Normally it happens fairly frequently. Anyway, I think you get the idea. So you might, you've seen a couple here, right there. That was 2 in a row. No, that wasn't 2 in a row. But something like that, where you would have the same scene, the same little level back to back, and that's because they can show up anywhere in that little block range there. I'm just going to let it die now. Let's see, and then so that's the first ones, and I put this little Zen one in here just to kind of, you know, break up the monotony, break up the game a little, give people a little bit of a break. And then I shortened that because there was a couple times in the original game I was hitting that right off the start, and I would hit it like 4 times in a row, and I was like, I wish there was some more control on how often these things showed up. So it'd be nice, for instance, to say, yeah, I want 1-7 to show up anywhere in this block, but I only want it to show up, and then I could set like a number of times over here. I say I only want it to show up 1 time in that time range, and then don't show it again. So I think that would be probably a better solution, but you know. And then a little bonus section here. So these are spinning, and they just, you know, just some coins. Then you go through section 2. Which is just kind of the same thing, more levels, but during this whole period you're also going to be speeding up. The game is speeding up and you're going faster and faster, and then a quick Zen, some more bonus, and then you get to the 3-1, 3-2, and these are getting significantly more challenging, and you got to kind of pay attention. That one's pretty darn hard to get through. I found the ones with the balls, the circles, those were the really hard ones to get through because they don't, like the squares, you hit a flat surface and you can just push it, but you hit a square, two circles rubbing together, they just kind of slip off of each other, so the circles are more difficult. But I'm cool with that. I'm not going to go through all these. I did in the first one I tried to make here, but these get pretty significantly difficult, and then so on these, something significant to point out is the -1. So this whole 4 section, they all start at 18 and they all go to -1, and you're cooking by this point. You're going pretty damn fast, and you'll see some of these are pretty darn hard to get through. Let me see if I can do this one again. Let's see. I'll solo it. So hit the S key and restart. Start. So imagine coming through here cooking about 5 times as fast, trying to get through that. Excuse me. So let's see if I can do it this time. It's really just about timing, but there you go. So it can be done, but if you're going a lot faster and you see it at this point right here, you're going to have a tough time getting through that. But I mean, it can totally be done. So anyway, there you go. And you're cooking through this part, and then you just go forever until you die, and the game continue to speed up. But that's that. So that's all I have to talk about there, I believe. Let's see, shop. Everything in here I've talked about before. Share, rate, restart. Rewarded ads video. So we'll see how this works. But I added it in here, and right now it will add points, but it's just because this is in a simulator. But I'll talk about that. And I got this from the forums. I can't remember exactly which forum I got it from. Yeah, I'll just see if I can find the link and post it in there. But anyway, somebody else threw this out, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to do that. So if you've ever played the game Ball Jump, this is one of the things they did in there, and it was a build box thing. So you go to the first thing I'm going to have to do is, I'm sorry, I'm trying to talk and do stuff. Go to your action list, go down, and I'm not in actions. Hang on, roll that up. Go into actions, go down here. So I drug it in initially as an action. Which is just taking it from, you know, wherever in here and adding it in as an action here. Hit the escape key to not do that. So it gets dropped in as an action. Come up here, you change it to coin, you give it the value you want, which I said in my image, you know, 250 is what I wanted to make it worth. Don't put show, and that's really it. Appearance chance, I'm not sure if this is what controls how often it shows up, or if it's just the HAZAP mediation settings. I can't really tell right now. So I'm just going to put it at 100% because, you know, we all want people to watch rewarded videos. And yeah, so that's cool. And then, you're not done yet. So then you got to go to the menu that one's laying on, which is the main menu. And you got to drag it in again. Should just move that. You got to drag it in again. And this time, again, you drag it in just like any other. And you put it as a purchase button this time. And I hit escape again to cancel that. And then over here, you check, you select the action selection, which was the one I just dropped on the other page. And then you make it obviously action. And then down here you say buy and use. That's important to have selected. And then rewarded videos and Haze app. And mediation Haze app is supposed to just kick in and make it work. That's how it's advertised. We'll see. If it's not, I'll have to change it or take it out. But I'm hoping that's the way it works right now. On here to get that little bouncing thingy there, well, this is basically letting the user know, hey, you can unlock a ball now because you have enough coins, and if they click on it, it'll pick a random ball to unlock. So that is here. Actually, I probably should have changed that to auto hide, but too late now. I think that might have been, I like it just staying there. But anyway, then when I dropped it on there, it popped up right here, and then I moved it over to here so that I could have this kind of even split here. That's kind of the same way ball jump has it. And I really like that kind of a layout, so I mimicked that. And then the sounds, I don't have the system sounds turned on, but there's a good and a bad for this that I dropped on there. So if they select, and you can't hear it, but if it's good, you get a little blue blue bing. If it's bad, you get a little blue blue blue. So, or boom, I don't know, whatever. Yes, that's exactly how it sounds. Let's see. So that's that. What else can I talk about? Oh, and I did make this one, and I don't know if it's going to work, but in the character settings, I think it should work. There's no reason it shouldn't work, and I hope it works. I put it last because it's kind of the coolest spiral one I have. I liked it the most, so I made it cost the most, and the way I did that is purchase method, rewarded videos, and then Haze app. So the way it should work, they should have to watch a video to unlock this ball. So that's going to be kind of a testing for me, see if it works. Kind of hope it does. Anyway, moving on because I'm almost out of time. See if there's anything else I want to talk about. Information. So I changed the kind of the business name to GTE Games. All links and everything are updated to that, and I'm trying to get them all updated on the forums. I've already got the Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and domain for all that. So that is the official now. ANAT was always just kind of like a, I don't know, I should have taken it a little more serious and come up with something a little better. GTE doesn't really, it means something to me, but mostly it just sounds cool. So you can see, where is it? Over here, go to the start, GTE Games, kind of made a little high-speed logo for it. And the YouTube channel that you're watching this on right now should be GTE Games by now. But that's changed that all over, just so everybody knows. And you can see here, I did put the Creative Commons stamp on this, and I am going to include all the files, and I'll show those briefly. I'll pull that up. I went through it in depth in the last one, but I'm not doing that again. I just don't have time. I apologize. But basically, any file that you've seen me create or make, I'm including with the game. So I want to make it all freely downloadable and available. This is all graphics that I made either from scratch or I based it loosely off of something else, and created on my own. So I'm releasing it all under Creative Commons. Just maybe provide a link back to me. That's all I asked for. And these are all the vector files. They're all editable, so you could pull this up and I'll hit Alt-1 to open it up in Fireworks, and I pull that up in there, and you can see it's a full-on vector. You can still edit these files or these graphics. You can change them however you want. You can change the color. You can, whatever you want to do. The world is your oyster with these graphics. So go crazy, have fun. The characters, all the menus, all those items, and all that kind of stuff. All the objects I made, the little squares and triangles, which not a huge deal, but if you just want this to, for testing out a game or something, you got it, and testing the waters. And then store graphics. These I had to make for all the different stores. For Grandeur, who I'm going to give a plug out to real quick. Use these guys to get your app submitted. You can go, whoops. Yeah, so 3 stores, $65, iPhone, Google, Amazon. You come in here, you can fill this form out. Last time I did it, it didn't work right. So what I do now is just fill out this Word document. And I did this for a slide, and it worked fine. They accepted it, no problem. I just filled in all the information. Basically pulled everything off of this form because I filled the form in twice and I got an error both times. They said they fixed it or they were going to look into it. I still don't care. I'm not filling in that whole form again. And this worked fine. They took it. Everything was good. I just put my PayPal transaction, all the stuff that basically you're pulling out of your settings in the back. And you give all this to them. What do you want to charge for your prices? These guys will go take care of everything. I mean, you don't have to worry about a single setting. And then they tell you, hey, it's ready. All you got to go do is push the button to basically submit it to the service for approval. And then you can go in and you can check over everything, make sure it's the way you think it should be. It's a good learning process. I got to figure out how it all works, kind of. And and then I just clicked the submit button for all of them, and boom, you know, within, I think it was 6 hours, I was on Amazon, and another, I think it was 4 hours, I was on Google, and that was for the game Slide. But to get all that done, go back to the graphics. You got to make all these graphics. So the way I did these was I shot them all at 1080 by 1920, and then I took those 7 shots that I got and I copied and I pasted them into every one of these folders all the way through here for the different resolutions that you need for the different devices through the different services. And then what I did after I pasted all those huge graphics in, I went through and I have this with the XN view. So I'm using XN view, which is a pretty great program. You go batch processing, and you can go to let's see, PNG. So I kind of set up a script, but I'll just basically show you what I did real quick. It was resize, and I add that to here, and I change it to whatever the sizes that I wanted for these dealies, and then I did that. And then the next thing I did was add in a canvas resize, and so if it wasn't the right size, you could pick the color for the border on the back of the object, and it would change the whole, it'll give it, basically put a canvas or a background behind the image to make it fit the dimensions that you want. Basically come in here and play with it and figure it out if you want to use this, but I ended up making a script that would just, it's not really a script, I mean, it's just my saved settings of what I want to use, and then all I have to do is change these boxes, and I got all my check boxes the way I wanted, and that also changes it back over here to make sure it's PNG and replace so I don't end up with a ton of duplicate files. But what that doing that background on it does is these little black borders, it makes sure it's a perfect size and exactly what I needed it to be, 1024 by 600 through all of them, and that was super fast. I did all of those in about like 10 minutes. And then it also has this batch rename, so I could come in here and say, for this one I could say 600 by, you know, 1024. I could change that to, you know, 1 by 2, whatever I want, and then I can see the old name, and then I can see the new name, and just click rename, and it renames them all. So I'm not going to do it because I've already done it, but that was how I did all these graphics in like 15-20 minutes, and it was done. All the stores are good to go. Uploaded all of this and all of the audio, or not the audio, all of this, the build file, which, you know, I'm also going to give away, uploaded it to the final one. Where is it? Dodgey version 1.0. Uploaded that to, where did I send it? Dropbox. And then emailed, sent Granger the $65, and emailed him the document with that, with all this information in it. And hopefully, you know, in a day or two, it's going to be up and working. And I recommend those guys, and I don't get paid for that. And I rarely endorse anybody for anything. You ain't paying me. I'm not. You know, I feel like I'm paying for your service. I'm not going to brag about you, but I spent 3 days trying to get the Android Eclipse IDE thing working, and you know, and I've used Android for years, or Eclipse for years rather, and you know, I couldn't figure that out. It kicked my ass, literally kicked my ass, and I was just like, you know what, $65. I'm still kind of determined to figure it out, but I don't have the time or patience right now, so I pay him $65 and I'm done with it. I recommend you do the same. Trey recommends it. I got better things to worry about right now than that. So real quick, I'll run through the settings, and then I'm done. I know I'm talking fast. It's late. I just want to be done with this. Let's see, graphics. So this icon is also included. This is the icon that's going to show up on the mobile device or you know, tablet phone. This is what's going to show up as the actual icon that they push on to start the game. So I put it in as 1024 by 1024, and you know, that's that. So everything above this little drop down, the application store, these are all variables that apply to every application store. So is the score type distance or coin based, the name of the game, version, and the reset message I talked about a minute ago, and then you can put comments there. Don't really know where those show up, and whatever. Apple iOS store though, anything below this is specific to the Apple iOS store, and if I change this to say Google, then it changes down here. It changes the fields to Google. What you want to always put for bundle ID is com dot name of your company dot name of your game. That's just the industry standard. I recommend you do it. You can put other stuff in there, but you'd be silly too, because then you're going to confuse yourself and everyone else eventually. Leaderboard ID, review link, all this other stuff. That's what I'm paying $65 for. He'll go get all that stuff, set up the website on Google, iTunes, and Amazon, and he'll come back and put anything that needs to put in here. That grandeur, the service, they'll do that for you. I mean, it's ridiculous, no-brainer to pay them the money to do this if you expect to make any kind of money out of your project. So that's that for general gameplay. I did go back and tweak these a little bit, and I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I did speed it up a little on speed increase and the game speed min and maxes, and I think I tweaked time warp just a little bit. But these are the finals that were actually sent. I know I keep saying finals. I think this is the third time I've said these are my final settings, but these really are, because I've already sent them off, and to change them again I'd have to recompile the whole thing. So that's what it is for now. Advertisements, I go really simple. I go Hey Zap. I just put my publisher ID in there, and that's going to take care of everything. It worked good for the game Slide I did, and hopefully it'll work good for this one. Google Play, same thing, Hey Zap, and then of course Amazon's a little bit different. I would normally expect Apple to be completely different on this, but it's actually Amazon that doesn't take Hey Zap, so I had to get a RevMob account for the last game I did for Slide. And this is actually an application-specific code, whatever you want to call it, ID. It's not a publisher ID. This is an application one. So RevMob, you have to set that up specifically for that. All right, like I said, this is it. That's all. That's everything I got for you. Trying to think real quick. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Like I said, I got GTE games now, and we got I'm going to be on Twitter frequently now with that. I'm going to be on Facebook, and I'm going to be, of course, on YouTube, which I'm really liking. So go ahead and please subscribe to YouTube. I'm going to do a whole nother series when BuildBox 2 gets released next week. Fingers crossed next week. But once that's out, we'll start another series. I've got some work travel a week after that, but I'm going to try to do as much as I can with it. So if you subscribe when I post a video, you're going to get it. I'm always going to try to keep these around 15-20 minutes. I hate going over, but this one this one I had to, because it's been 2 days and I finished the whole thing, and pretty excited about that. So it's going to hopefully work out great. Please download the game once it's out, and I'll make another video once it's out with actual screenplay and gameplay, and then I got to make the trailer. Still got a lot of work to do. Got to go upload websites and stuff. But yes, like, share, friend, follow, subscribe, and ask questions, and I'll try to answer them as best I can. And if you need a demo of something, I'm even willing to probably set up a demo or show you how to do something if you need to see how it's actually done, step by step. Except for making the APK. Somebody's asked me twice for that, and I can't do that. It's frustrating the crap out of me, but I can't do that. If I could, I would make a video tomorrow. So anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of it. You guys take care, and see you later.